Hey guys, welcome to today's video on how to maintain muscle mass while losing weight. So you're on your weight loss diet, you've been going to the gym, you've built up a bit of muscle mass, now you want to cut down, shred the fat, and show off your physique that you've built. So how do you actually lose fat without losing muscle at the same time? Because if you lose all that muscle that you've built, over however many months, then when you lose, all of your fat as well, you're going to end up being skinny fat, and you're going to look terrible, perhaps worse than you did before. So it's important to reduce the amount of muscle that you lose whilst you're losing weight. Obviously this is more important if you've got a small amount of weight to lose. If you've got 200 pounds to lose, then I wouldn't worry about this video too much. But if you've got 20-30 pounds to lose, something like that, not too much, and you've got a bit of muscle mass on you just want to look better, then you need to try and reduce the amount of muscle that you're going to lose. Now, can you prevent muscle loss completely? No. You're always going to lose a small amount of muscle. The exception being if you're taking some kind of drugs, steroids, that kind of thing, and they can actually build muscle on a diet. So, but I wouldn't recommend that at all. Now, the ways that you can reduce the total muscle that you'll lose, or at least in ratio to your total fat loss, is mainly you need to not cut your calories too low. Now, if you cut your calories, by 1,000 a day, that's too much. A greater portion of that weight loss, you may see, a week you've lost, 2 pounds, but perhaps, it's not going to be 2 pounds of fat. There's going to be, some muscle loss there. Whilst if you cut only, 250 calories, a day, then yeah, you're only going to lose half a pound a week. But that's probably going to be pure fat, or as close to it as you can do. So, the lower your deficit of calories, the lower amount of muscle you're going to lose in general. The more calories you cut, the greater portion of that's going to be muscle loss. So try, it can be tempting to cut your calories more, lose weight faster. But yeah, in the long term, it's not going to do you any favours, because you're going to be losing muscle as well. So everything you're working for, you're trying to achieve, you're damaging your physique at that time, by cutting too much. So cut less calories. If you're cutting 1,000, change it to 500. Try not to cut more than 500 a day. Okay. So next thing, protein intake. Now you want to try and eat a good amount of protein. So you need to eat at least 0.8 grams of protein per pound of body weight. Yeah. So if you weigh 100 pounds, that will be 80 grams of protein. If you weigh 200 pounds, that will be 160 grams of protein. Okay. That's the amount that you need to keep minimum. So there's plenty of foods you can get that in. Chicken breast, lentils, if you're a vegetarian, or if you just want some other than meat, chicken, all the normal protein sources you can use. Now, a good protein source is obviously the protein, the milkshakes that you can get. So whey protein, it's not the healthiest in the world, but if you're struggling to meet your daily protein needs, then you can put 2 scoops of protein, whey protein, in a shake, and there's 60 grams of protein, and it's easily eaten. Whilst if you try to eat 60 grams of chicken breast, it'd be a bit more difficult. You've got to go through the hassle of preparing it and everything. Obviously foods, natural products is the best way to go, but you can top it up a little bit with those whey protein and other kinds of things. So give that a try. Another thing that's important to, you know, minimise the amount of muscle that you lose, is to keep weight training. But what you want to do, if you normally train 5 days a week, train 3 days and have a greater amount of rest between the days. Because obviously when you're cutting calories, you know, your body's not going to be able to repair your, you know, your damaged muscles as well as when you're, you know, eating in excess calories, you know, to build muscle. So, you know, still train, you know, lift heavy weights, still train hard, but just allow yourself a bit more rest between, and don't train as frequently. Also lower the cardio as well. Try not to do too much cardio. The more cardio you do, the more muscle you will lose when you're eating at a deficit. When you're eating, you know, in excess, yeah, it's fine. Or eating at maintenance, fine, a bit of cardio. But when you're eating at a deficit and you want to minimise the, you know, muscle loss, weight training is fine. You don't need to do much cardio, you know. Or if you do some cardio, very low intensity, you know, perhaps a little bit of cycling, walking, you know. Don't, you know, go for a 10-mile run, because that's, you know, that's gonna, you know, dramatically increase the amount of muscle you're gonna lose. Okay. Next thing you need to try is intermittent fasting. Now, reason being, with intermittent fasting, you rearrange your meal times, you eat in a small window. So you have 16 hours of not eating, bearing in mind, you know, 8 of those you're probably asleep, so it's only an 8-hour window. And then you have 8 hours. Within those 8 hours you eat all of your meals, and you can arrange it how you like. You can start off, you know, with a 500 calorie meal, and then you can save yourself a 1,000 calorie meal at, you know, at the end of the day. But intermittent fasting is good for minimising muscle loss, because what happens is when you eat those large meals when you're doing intermittent fasting, that gives you a lot of a large insulin spike, and it will stop your body going into any kind of starvation mode, which kind of happens when you go, you know, a large amount of time eating low calories or below your maintenance needs. So having those big meals, those spikes, that will help, you know, prevent your body from trying to use your muscle as an energy source. So try intermittent fasting as well. I hope these tips have been of some help, and stay tuned for the next video.